My name is Soma Mukhopadhyay and I created a teaching method called RPM. It's an education method where children are learning. So what are the things they are learning? They are learning information like science, history, geography, and then they are learning a skill, how to spell and communicate their thoughts, because speech may not be as easy as we think it is. So they learn how to spell, then they learn the tolerance. So what will be the sensory tolerance? How long will I listen to the teacher? What will be now my performance tolerance? So from one worded answer to one whole sentence long answer to a kind of a creative writing. And then communication. Communication is, what am I going to do with this learning? So for example, the student learned the sky is blue because air particles reflect the blue color. Then the communication objective from there would be, what do you think about blue color? Do you like navy blue? And then or do you like light blue? You are personalizing it. And then if a student has better tolerance, the student can say that, okay, construct a beautiful like poetry with the color blue sky of the sky. Right. So there are all these communication hierarchies, but without the tolerance, you may have the poem inside you, but you may not be able to show. So we create a kind of a system where we are assembling all these objectives in a kind of using a kind of a lesson so that we can get the best communication out of the student. Why? Because autism is sort of very misunderstood because of the sensory differences. The sensory differences, so I'm talking about how do we interact with the world. We interact with the world first with the senses, and then after that we language it. So the sensory differences makes an autistic person sort of feel sensorily uncomfortable in a particular environment. And there are they create these kinds of sensory bubbles in which they sort of feel comfortable, which we call stims. So these repetitive behaviors and other kinds of things, which it's not a behavior is a wrong term, these repetitive activities that the people do, and then OCDs and other things that are a sort of outgrowth from this kind of a sensory discomfort. And so a typical person who is sensorily adapted to any environment would act in one way, and an autistic person who is not adapted to a particular environment and will act in another way. So that differences makes autism sort of misunderstood, because people try to juxtapose everything based on how they are acting and how they are interacting with the environment. Now, if the parent accepts autism and accepts the difference and realizes that this child can be taught and this child can communicate, then that parent is automatically going to do everything correct around that child. Now, if that parent sits over there and waits for other typical like activities and other things to grow, then they'll wait for a long time, because there are no other therapies, because even sensory learning is sort of so individualized. So one person can visually like adapt to learning reading small letters. Another person may take a little longer time to do that. So that's why it is so so individualized. And so the earlier the parent understands this, the parent is going to do all the right thing, because even me lecturing won't help.